와, 와, 저 빡세다. 보이지가 않네, 날리는 게.
When you think of supports, you probably picture champions like Lulu, Leona, or maybe Thresh. But what if I told you there's a Grandmaster OTP on the Korean server who only plays RENGAR support?
What?
At first, everybody thinks that the guy is trolling. But then you quickly realize, this guy's built different.
Oh, this guy's cracked. This Rengar is clean. What the fuck? This is the first time I've seen a Rengar support. Like, actually. Like, that's insane to me. Genuinely insane to me. Yeah, it's insane. I'm not gonna lie.
But center is right. Why is this Rengar actually popping off as support? That's a bit interesting. Voting what for Hokage for real? You're...
This isn't just a gimmick either. This player has devoted himself to perfecting this pick, grinding over 1.4k games on Rengar support this season alone. Now, Rengar is a champion designed to hunt alone. An assassin who thrives in isolation, not a support champ. Then how has this player achieved Grandmaster on the hardest server in the world, playing against pros like Viper, Beryl, or even Faker? So let's deep dive on how Rengar support actually works. It all starts in lane. His passive leap turns bot lane into his hunting ground. By playing around the bushes, he can all in at any moment, forcing the enemy bot lane to play scared. Every leap builds ferocity, letting Rengar choose between heavy trades with empowered Q while locking down enemies with his empowered Bola. And honestly, his empowered E is disgusting. It lasts 1.75 seconds, almost as long as a Morgana Q. If you land a regular E first, you can follow up with the empowered E almost guaranteed, effectively giving you a hard TC that's incredibly reliable. That's more than enough time to land multiple auto attacks, set up ganks, or completely lock down an enemy while your ADC follows up. His runes perfectly support his aggressive style. Grasp of the Undying and Sudden Impact give him insane damage and sustain, while Font of Life, Revitalize, and his W keep him healthy against poke. Paired with an aggressive ADC, this creates insane kill pressure, as early as level 1. For most bot lanes, what should be a safe laning phase suddenly turns to a survival mission. Of course, there are matchups where Rengar can't just leap in. Against champions like Poppy, or in lanes where he's outmatched, his all-in style becomes too risky. That's when this OTP pulls out an alternate version of this pick. Arcane Comet E Max Rengar support. With this setup, Rengar transforms himself in the early game into a poke mage. His Bola deals huge damage when stacked, Arcane Comet amplifies it, and the low cooldown allows him to spam it over and over again. He can even cast it mid-air, making it nearly impossible to dodge. This version gives Rengar incredible versatility. If he can't dive, he can poke enemies down until they are low enough to finish off. And honestly, it makes playing against him feel downright toxic. Now let's break down why these rune pages are so important. The grass setup isn't just about sustain, it gives him short burst trading power, which is exactly how Rengar wants to fight in lane. Sudden Impact boosts his burst every time he leaps, and Font of Life lets his ADC heal up during trades. On the other hand, the Arcane Comet page flips his playstyle completely. Instead of diving in, he pokes from range, relying on consistent E damage to control the lane. It's genius because it covers his biggest weakness, lanes where he can't safely engage. But Rengar support isn't just about winning lane. Once laning phase ends, his impact really starts to show. Unlike traditional supports who play safely around vision, Rengar thrives in fog of war. With his passive leap and ultimate, he can scout, pick off isolated targets, and force the enemy to constantly respect the darkness. What really makes this work is his itemization. Instead of going full assassin, he builds tank items, like Deadman's Plate into Spirit Visage. As a support, he doesn't have the income to one-shot carries, so he invests in durability. This lets him stay alive in fights, kite around bushes, and disrupt even more enemies with Empowered E. And the crazy part? Even as a tank, he still can't be ignored. Thanks to his runes, base damage, and Deadman's Plate passive, he deals more than enough damage to threaten enemy carries. Combined with his utility and vision control, Rengar support turns mid-game into his hunting ground, making him disruptive and dangerous even against the best pros. In late-game teamfights, his role shifts. He can't hunt alone anymore. Instead, he becomes a disruptor. His job is to find the enemy carry, lock them down with Empowered E, and force the fight in his team's favor. Even if he doesn't get the kill himself, the CC and vision control he provides are game-changing. And because he's tanky, he can deep dive, soak cooldowns, and still leave to fight again. He flips the script on what a support is supposed to be. Instead of protecting his ADC, he actively helps his team to hunt the enemy down. Now Rengar support looks insane when it works, but let's be real, every pick has its limits. So what are the actual strengths and weaknesses of this strategy? The strengths are obvious. He has insane lane pressure and kill potential, his mid-game roaming and vision control catches always the enemies off guard, he has the flexibility to adapt between the all-in or poke playstyle, and he's hard to ignore due to his high base damage, runes, and itemization. But there are weaknesses too. He offers almost no peel for his ADC. If he falls behind early, he becomes useless. He can't jump in without dying instantly. In teamfights without bushes, like in the middle of a lane, his impact drops drastically, since he can't reliably stack his passive. And above all, he's incredibly difficult to master. His timing, positioning, and decision making have to be perfect, or the whole strategy collapses. But when played correctly, Rengar support can feel completely broken. It even caught the attention of Korean pros and teams like BLG, showing that this off-meta pick might actually be strong enough to shake up the support meta. At the end of the day, Rengar was never designed to be a support. Yet somehow, this Korean Grandmaster OTP has proven that with enough mastery, you can turn even the most off-meta pick into a weapon, even on the hardest server in the world. If you want to see this strategy in action and learn directly from the source, make sure to check out the YouTube channel of Cat on the Bush, the Rengar who inspired this video. This guy's absolutely cracked at the game, link in the description. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be covering more crazy off-meta strategies soon, so stay tuned.